And the article breaks down Sony's PlayStation attempt to compete with Game Pass / xCloud. And I must say, it's about time, Sony. Hi, welcome to Zgadgetreview. When Xbox first announced Game Pass, everybody was like, what? Are they nuts? And Xbox was like, no, we're not. We're going to put every single game that we launch for free or a monthly charge in your Xbox or your PC or in the cloud. And Game Pass now is a successful service. One could say that it is most likely going to become the standard for the industry. And don't get me wrong, not every game is going to work in this way, but a lot of games already do. And they seem to find audiences that otherwise they cannot find. That is what makes Game Pass successful. It was just a matter of time until Sony decided to do their own Game Pass style subscription. And the question is, why have they waited so long? And one of my guesses is because Sony being Sony, they were like, you know what, most likely it isn't going to work. Most likely people aren't going to use it. And we can continue the method we were doing business for years instead of going with the craziness and desperation of the Xbox. But that doesn't seem to be the case anymore because, according to Bloomberg, Sony PlayStation will launch a subscription-based service in the spring. So the rumors are that Sony is trying to merge their PlayStation Now service with their PlayStation Plus service. PlayStation Now is Sony's cloud gaming service, and it is kind of limited right now. You can get it through an app on your PC, and I think you can also get it through an app on your phone. No, I think it's only on the PC because you can do it on the PC and your console because I've only been able to play it on my PC. PlayStation Now. And PlayStation Plus will be the equivalent to Xbox Live Gold. So what they're going to do is they're going to merge both services into one service. That service for PlayStation Now actually works pretty well. I've used it a few times and I haven't had any issues. There aren't a lot of games there. It's mostly PlayStation exclusives, but it's also not a lot of PlayStation exclusives. And also the PlayStation exclusives that are there are pretty old games. So that library needs to be refreshed. PlayStation Plus, like I said, works like Xbox Live Gold, which gives you the free games every month and gives you the multiplayer access. The service is codenamed Spartacus, and it is going to be available via PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So based on that, it sounds like it's not going to be widely available like Game Pass. It is going to be closed off to your PlayStation. Within this article, Bloomberg says that they look at some documentation that shows that the service is going to be broken down in 3 tiers. The first tier will include existing PlayStation Plus benefits. The second tier will offer a large catalog of PlayStation 4 and eventually PlayStation 5 games. The third tier would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games. So that's pretty much what the service is going to be coming from Sony. But there are some things that, if you think about, still leave Game Pass as the top service. One, it doesn't seem like this service is going to be available on any other devices but your PlayStation, meaning that it's still a walled garden that you only have access to if you own a PlayStation device, versus what Xbox is doing of pretty much opening their service to anyone who wants it. As long as you pay a monthly fee, you can play it on a PC or on your phone or your Xbox, even a browser using xCloud or cloud streaming, whatever you want to call the service. Again, I contend that they should stick to xCloud and that's it. Based on this information, it doesn't seem like PlayStation is going to be doing that. So PlayStation is getting something to compete with Game Pass, but technically only for PlayStation owners. Of course, that is going to change if they decide to make PlayStation Now the equivalent to Game Pass, but only for cloud streaming. But also represents its own challenges. For example, not every third-party game that they can put in the service, if they end up doing that, is going to be okay with, being played in the cloud. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is library. The library of games that, as I said earlier, PlayStation has right now is pretty limited. If you go to the PlayStation Now service, you're going to be able to play games that you cannot play anywhere else. But these are pretty old games. And so that also represents a challenge, because if you're talking about offering a service to current and long-time PlayStation owners, and the benefits you're giving them is, hey, you can play the games that you already own and have played, creates a little bit of an animosity, right? Of course, the sweet thing on this service is the fact that you can go and play older games from the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3. So that will be a salvation kind of thing for the service for people that have had PlayStation or are newer PlayStation owners, if they just came into PlayStation from the PlayStation 3 and forward. Then it'll give an opportunity to these people to play PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 games that they otherwise could not play. So I will say it has its pros and cons. Personally, I don't think that it's exact competitor to Game Pass, again, because of what I just explained of Game Pass being an open service pretty much for anyone that wants to get it, versus Sony being a closed service. So that's the first con to me. The other con is the library, and how much is Sony willing to put out there for their service. Because as we have heard before, Sony is very interested on exclusives and big mega blockbuster games and all these things. And so from a financial standpoint, it doesn't make sense that Sony would put something like, Horizon Forbidden Dawn or whatever the game is called, in a service like that when it first came out, right? Because they want people to buy the game in order to make their money. So it makes sense that these are games that will probably go into the service later on, like 6 months to a year maybe, once they're not as hot as they were, and also maybe smaller games. But again, Sony said that they're not going to be doing very many small games. So there is still a lot to find out about this service. I am glad to see that Sony is doing something to compete with Game Pass. I feel that they need to do more, but it's a good start. And seeing what I've seen so far from PlayStation Now, I think that when it comes to cloud gaming, Xbox is going to have a good competition with Sony when it comes to that. Again, also depending on the games that both services offer. So, wow, this is really exciting. Something that I actually have been waiting to hear for a while from Sony. I've done many videos where I've talked about xCloud, where I always go like, what is Sony waiting for? What are they doing? This is the way the market's going. This is the way services are moving forward to. They need to get it together and start working on it. So I'm glad that finally we get something from them, even if it's in the form of a rumor, right? That means that we are going to hear something from them officially in the few upcoming months of 2022. I mean, we only have a few weeks left of 2021. Good on you, Sony PlayStation. About time you joined the party. What do you think about the new PlayStation service, whatever it might be called? Do you think it's enough to compete with Game Pass? Do you think that it might be a mistake that they're not opening the service to everyone, kind of like Xbox is doing? Do you have any other thoughts? Let me know in the comment section. That's it for me. Go ahead and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. Go ahead and hit that bell so you can be alerted every time we have new videos. And thank you very much for watching.